The roar of the private jet faded abruptly into an unsettling silence, its powerful engines sputtering and finally giving out high above a remote stretch of rugged terrain. For Claire Anderson, a billionaire businesswoman known for her relentless drive and impeccable taste, the luxurious flight had taken a sudden, terrifying turn. Stranded miles from the nearest airport with no immediate help in sight, she faced a frightening reality. Alone, vulnerable, and utterly dependent on fate. But what happened next would change Claire's life forever, and it all started with a struggling mechanic named Jake, whose kindness would become a beacon of hope against the odds. Claire's heart pounded as she gripped the armrests of her plush leather seat, staring out at the endless sea of trees beneath. The jet's unexpected silence was deafening, and the sudden jolt as the plane made a rough emergency landing left her breathless. The pilot's voice crackled over the radio. "We're down. Help might take hours. Stay calm." Her mind raced with questions. How could this happen? Who would help? She was used to having control, but now she felt powerless, exposed in a world far from the glamorous cities and penthouse suites she ruled. Fear crept in, but beneath it, a quiet resolve began to grow. Claire knew she couldn't just wait. She had to find help. Hours later, Jake wiped sweat from his brow as he leaned over the hood of his battered old pickup truck. The small-town mechanic shop was nothing like the world Claire came from. The smell of oil, rust, and gasoline filled the cramped space, and the harsh clang of tools echoed against faded posters on cracked walls. Jake's life was a far cry from luxury. Bills piled up, his daughter's school fees were overdue, and every day felt like a struggle to keep the business afloat. But Jake had something money couldn't buy: a big heart and an unwavering belief that kindness could change everything. That afternoon, as he was finishing a repair, the distant sound of a struggling engine caught his attention. Out of the blue, the luxury jet's emergency signal had somehow reached the small town's old radio tower. With a sinking feeling, Jake realized someone was in serious trouble out in the wilderness beyond the trees. Without hesitation, Jake grabbed his tools and a rugged first aid kit, jumped into his truck and headed out. Meanwhile, Claire stumbled through the dense forest, every step heavier than the last. She was exhausted, thirsty, and her ankle throbbed painfully from a stumble near the crash site. The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. The quiet hum of nature surrounded her, the rustling leaves, distant bird calls, but the loneliness was overwhelming. "Please," she whispered to herself. "Someone. Anyone." Suddenly, headlights cut through the twilight, illuminating a dusty road ahead. Jake's truck came to a halt beside her, dust swirling around the tires. He jumped out and rushed to her side, offering a steady hand. "Are you okay?" Jake asked, his voice gentle but firm. Claire nodded, tears of relief streaming down her face. Jake helped her into the truck and started the engine. On the way back, he told her stories about his daughter, his dreams, and the struggles that didn't define him but fueled his determination. Claire listened, struck by his genuine spirit, a world away from the boardrooms and business deals she was used to. Back here, at Jake's workshop, Claire was treated with care and respect. Jake fixed her ankle the best he could, brewed a cup of strong coffee, and sat beside her. The two strangers from vastly different worlds began to share more than just stories. They shared hope. Jake's kindness had given Claire a lifeline when she needed it most, and she found herself opening up about the pressures of her high-powered life, the loneliness hidden behind the wealth, and her fears about losing control. "You don't have to carry it all alone," Jake said softly. "Sometimes kindness is the strongest power there is." That night, as the stars blinked overhead, Claire realized something profound. Strength wasn't about power or money. It was about compassion, connection, and the willingness to be vulnerable. Days passed, and word of Claire's ordeal spread through the town. The billionaire who had landed unexpectedly in their midst wasn't just a headline. She became part of their community, touched by the warmth and kindness she found among people she never imagined would change her life. In a surprising twist, Claire used her resources not to escape, but to invest in Jake's struggling shop, ensuring it would thrive and that his daughter would never worry about school fees again. More than that, she started a foundation dedicated to helping small communities and people like Jake, whose kindness had saved her. The world saw a billionaire's jet break down and a struggling mechanic save her life. But the true story was about how kindness, hope, and humanity could bridge the widest divides. Claire's life was forever changed, not by the wealth she carried, but by the generosity she received and then gave back. Now, imagine how different our world could be if each of us chose kindness every day. What small act could you do today that might change someone's life? If this story touched your heart, please like, comment your own kindness story below, and subscribe for more powerful, inspiring tales. And don't miss our next story, where a forgotten hero's bravery defies all odds, because kindness is the most valuable legacy we can leave. Thank you for watching.